news tonight. Sources are now telling CNN that an ex-girlfriend of the embattled Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz is now cooperating with investigators in a sex trafficking probe involving the lawmaker. Our senior Washington correspondent Pamela Brown is joining us right now. Pamela, this is a potentially critical witness, I understand, in this case.
Absolutely, Wolf, and this could potentially be a damaging development for Congressman Matt Gaetz. Now, CNN has learned his ex-girlfriend, a former Capitol Hill staffer, has agreed to cooperate with federal investigators. And here's why that matters, Wolf. She is viewed by investigators as a critical witness who has been linked to Gaetz as far back as the summer of 2017. That is a key time period investigators have been scrutinizing. She can help potentially investigators understand the relevance of hundreds of transactions that they have obtained records of, including those involving alleged payments for sex. These sources told CNN, Wolf.
It comes, Pamela, just days after the Justice Department formally entered into a plea agreement with a very close friend, at least a very close former friend of Gaetz. We're talking about Joel Greenberg.
Yeah, that's right. Wolf, Greenberg's entanglement with young women first put Congressman Gaetz onto investigators' radar, and now CNN has learned that Greenberg has told investigators that Gaetz and at least two other men had sexual contact with a 17-year-old minor, a girl. That allegation by Greenberg, described to CNN by multiple people familiar with the matter, is referenced briefly in this 86-page plea agreement that a federal judge accepted on Monday. But prosecutors did not include any names in that court filing. So again, multiple sources telling CNN, one of them is Gaetz. Gaetz, as you know, Wolf, has repeatedly denied he ever had sex with a minor or paid for sex. A spokesman for Gaetz says Congressman Gaetz has never had sex with a minor and has never paid for sex. Mr. Greenberg has now pleaded guilty to falsely accusing someone else of sex with a minor. That person was innocent. So is Congressman Gaetz. Also, a Justice Department spokesman declined to comment to CNN, and the ex-girlfriend's lawyer, Timothy Jansen, also declined to comment. So that's the latest, Wolf.
Thank you very much. CNN's Pamela Brown reporting. Let's get some analysis from the state attorney from Palm Beach County in Florida, Dave Ehrenberg. Dave, thanks for joining us. How significant is it to secure the cooperation of this ex-girlfriend?
Good evening, Wolf. It's very significant. Matt Gaetz's bad week just got a lot worse. It started with the plea deal for Joel Greenberg, who is going to be the key witness against Gaetz if Gaetz is ever charged. And it ends with the announcement of cooperation with the ex-girlfriend. Her testimony is crucial because it can corroborate the claims made by Joel Greenberg, who is a professional liar and a professional criminal. So there needs to be corroboration through emails, text messages, Venmo receipts, and crucially, testimony from someone who cannot be attacked the way that Gaetz could attack Greenberg. He could easily attack Greenberg for his credibility. He could even attack the 17-year-old victim at the heart of this case because she's currently an adult film star, and who knows how well that'll play in front of the jury. But this ex-girlfriend apparently has no axe to grind with Matt Gaetz. She's a former congressional staffer who, according to reports, currently works for Florida state government.
So what sort of information do you think she potentially could provide to these investigators?
She apparently not only knows Gaetz, but also knows the 17-year-old girl. Because according to reports, Gaetz met both of them by way of this sugar daddy website. She also attended the 2018 Bahamas trip. Joel Greenberg did not, mind you. And that trip, according to reports, is being investigated for charges of pay to play and for violations of the Mann Act, which is the act that says you cannot transport people for purposes of prostitution. So not only could she be crucial in corroborating Joel Greenberg's claims against Matt Gaetz for the big whammy child sex trafficking, but she could also be a key witness if there's ever going to be a charge under the Mann Act or bribery.
So bottom line, Dave, when you add up her cooperation on top of Joel Greenberg's plea deal, and he's got to cooperate fully, what does this all mean for Congressman Gaetz?
Well, as Clubber Lang said in Rocky III, pain. This is terrible news for Matt Gaetz because Gaetz is out there with Marjorie Taylor Greene blaming the media, blaming who knows who else, George Soros, Jewish space lasers, whatever they're talking about. That may play well in a court of public opinion in far right-wing circles, but not in a court of law. In a court of law, it depends on evidence, facts, testimony. And this young woman can not only testify at the trial of Matt Gaetz if he's ever charged, and it depends